Hi students, here I am with the fourth video on current electricity. So in this video we will learn about the cells, EMF and internal resistance, that is one thing. And secondly we will learn about the Ohm's law applied to a simple circuit, and also we will learn about the electromotive force EMF of a cell and potential difference, the difference between EMF and potential difference. And more importantly we will learn about the resistors in series and resistors in parallel. To start with cells, see here, first of all we will learn what is a cell. So look at this diagram, and there are two cells given here. One is known as the Leclanché cell, the other one is known as the Daniell cell. See, in this Leclanché cell there are two electrodes dipped in an electrolyte solution. Out of these two electrodes, one is positive and the other one is negative. The zinc rod is negative. In a Leclanché cell, both the rods are dipped in a ammonium chloride solution. Ammonium chloride solution is an electrolyte. So these two rods dipped in ammonium chloride solution acts as a Leclanché cell. Zinc rod is negative terminal and the other one is a positive terminal, P and N. Similarly, we have got another cell which is Daniell cell, and in this Daniell cell a zinc rod is dipped in a zinc sulfate solution, acts as a negative electrode, and in a copper vessel there is a copper sulfate solution and that acts as a positive, copper vessel itself acts as a positive electrode. If Leclanché cell provides the voltage around 1.5 and the Daniell cell provides the voltage around 1.05 volt. So this is how the cell looks like. In this cell the chemical energy is converted into electrical energy. And what is the definition of the cell? As you know, if you want the current to flow in a conductor, there should be a potential difference across the ends of the conductor. If there is no potential difference across the ends of the conductor, the current will not flow. So for the current to flow in a conductor, the potential difference is required, and that potential difference is maintained by this device called cell. So cell is a device which is used to maintain a current, steady current in a circuit. Cell is a source of energy. Cell provides or maintains the potential difference, and hence the current flows in a circuit. As I told you, it has got two electrodes, positive P and negative N, dipped in a solution called electrolyte. Leclanché cell, the electrolyte is ammonium chloride. So that is what the cell is. Next, coming to the next term, which is known as electromotive force. See, this one, electromotive force, is the amount of work done in moving a unit positive charge once round the entire circuit, including the electrolyte of the cell. Once round the entire circuit including the electrolyte. So if you want to understand better what is the EMF of a cell, just look at this diagram. Say for example, here we have got a cell, and this cell is represented by, say, a longer line and a shorter line. Cell generally will be represented by a longer line and a shorter line. Here a longer line and a shorter line. Generally that is how the cell is represented. And imagine that is connected to the external resistor here. So this is the circuit symbol of resistance, this zigzag path, external resistance. Here EMF of the cell we will write it as E, and say there is some internal resistance between the two electrodes of the cell, that is represented by R. Now to understand what is EMF of a cell, notice that EMF of a cell is this EMF of a cell is equal to EMF of a cell is equal to, see that when the current has to flow through this external resistor, the work has to be done by this cell. That means in driving the charges, in driving the current, work has to be done by the cell. So therefore, EMF of a cell is equal to work done in transferring plus 1 coulomb charge through external resistance R, plus there will be some internal resistance. We will learn about the internal resistance later. So the work is done, also work done in transferring 1 coulomb charge plus 1 coulomb charge through the internal resistance R. So you have to understand that the battery or the cell has to do the work against the external resistance and also against the internal resistance. So now the two works has to be done. Therefore, if you want to transfer 1 coulomb of charge once round the circuit completely, then notice that work has to be done through the external resistance as well as through the internal resistance. This work done to transfer 1 coulomb charge, unit positive charge, once around the complete circuit including the electrolyte, that is called the EMF of the cell. So EMF E is equal to work done in transferring 1 coulomb charge through the external resistance plus work done in transferring 1 coulomb charge through the internal resistance denoted by small r and capital R. So we will come back to this point again. So just for the time being, understand that electromotive force is a misnomer. It is not a force. It is actually the work done in transferring 1 coulomb charge, unit positive charge, once round the closed circuit completely including the electrolyte. That means if you start from the negative electrode and through the electrolyte reach the positive electrode and then again come back through the external resistance also. So that is the work done, and that is nothing but EMF of the cell. So having learned what is EMF of the cell, EMF is the amount of work done in moving a unit positive charge once round the entire circuit, closed circuit including the electrolyte of the cell. E is equal to W by Q naught, electromotive force. It is measured in volt. I told you it is not a force, it is a misnomer. It is nothing but the work done per unit charge. Therefore, it is equal to volt. So the other two definitions we will learn later. So now just move on to the next slide, that is what is the internal resistance. Look at this electrolyte, dear students. We have got the positive electrode and the negative electrode dipped in an electrolyte solution, say for example the Leclanché cell, and now the two electrodes are connected by the external resistance R. Like as I told you earlier, cell is connected to the external resistance R. So here what happens, the resistance is offered by the electrolyte itself to the flow of current from the negative terminal to the positive terminal inside the cell. Now see that if the charge has to flow from negative to positive, this electrolyte, the negative ions has to move, I mean the charges has to move from negative electrode to the positive electrode. While moving the charges, while moving from the negative electrode to the positive electrode, through this electrolyte. The electrolyte offers some resistance. There is opposition offered by the electrolyte to the flow of charges from the negative electrode to the positive electrode of the cell, and that is called internal resistance. Whereas this one is R, capital R is the external resistance, and here the resistance offered by the electrolyte of the cell to the flow of charges is called internal resistance, which is usually denoted by small r. That is called internal resistance. So, having understood the three things, one is EMF, what is a cell we know, and we also know what is the EMF of a cell, also we know the internal resistance of a cell. So, after understanding the internal resistance and the EMF of a cell, it's time to understand what is terminal potential difference. So, to understand the terminal potential difference, again if you just observe this diagram, we have got the resistance R here, and notice that this cell means this positive and negative electrode dipped in the electrolyte solution. This entire thing acts as a cell. The cell has to do the work in transferring a charge, 1 coulomb charge, through this external resistance, also through the internal resistance. The work done by the cell to transfer a unit positive charge through the external resistance is called terminal potential difference. That is called terminal potential difference. It is the work done in transferring 1 coulomb charge, unit positive charge, through the external resistance, that is called terminal potential difference. Plus, the work also has to be done by the cell to transfer 1 coulomb of charge through the internal resistance also. Both includes EMF. So, EMF includes both. To understand that very clearly, look at this diagram again. See here, this work done in transferring 1 coulomb charge through this external resistance, this one, that represents the terminal potential difference. That is called terminal PD, terminal potential difference. Also work is done against the internal resistance also, that is work is done. So, E is equal to, this terminal potential difference is written as V plus this is I into R. The work done is equal to I into R. We can show that the work done is equal to I into R. Work done in transferring 1 coulomb charge is nothing but terminal PD. So, this is the equation for the EMF of a cell. E is equal to V plus IR. E is equal to, E represents the EMF of a cell, V is the terminal potential difference. Terminal potential difference is the amount of work done in transferring 1 coulomb charge, unit positive charge, through the external resistance connected to the cell. So, plus the work done in transferring 1 coulomb charge through the internal resistance gives you the EMF of the cell. That gives you the EMF of the cell. So, hope that is clear for you. Now, having understood this one, dear students, listen. So, that is about the internal resistance. Now, Ohm's law in a closed circuit. See that, as I told you, Ohm's law when applied to a closed circuit, that is a simple circuit. Here, if you observe that there is a cell here whose EMF is E and the internal resistance is R. So, there is some work done by the cell to transfer 1 coulomb charge through the electrolyte of the solution, and that we will call it as V1. So, here V1 represents the work done in transferring 1 coulomb of charge through the electrolyte of the solution, that work done through the electrolyte, and here V represents the work done in transferring 1 coulomb charge through the external resistance, and that we have called it as terminal potential difference. So, therefore, by the definition we know that EMF of the cell is equal to V plus V1. Here V represents the terminal potential difference, that is the work done in transferring 1 coulomb of charge through the external resistance plus the work done in transferring 1 coulomb of charge through the internal resistance, that is through the electrolyte. By Ohm's law, we know that V is equal to IR, that means the product of current and resistance is the potential, whereas V1, that is the potential difference across the internal resistance, is equal to IR, because same current flows, I is the current flowing, same current, because they are in series. Therefore, substituting for V and V1, we get E is equal to IR plus IR. Taking I common, we get E is equal to I into R plus R, whereas I is equal to E divided by R plus R. Remember this, the current in a circuit is equal to EMF of the cell divided by external resistance plus internal resistance. Total effective external resistance plus internal resistance. So do not forget this, please remember I, the current, is equal to E divided by R plus R. E represents the EMF of the cell, capital R represents the total effective external resistance, and R represents the internal resistance of the cell. So that is one important thing. So having learnt about that, coming to this one, terminal potential difference, notice that E is equal to V plus IR, you know this equation. E represents the EMF of the cell, V is the terminal PD, IR represents the potential difference across the internal resistance of the cell, work done per unit charge across the internal resistance of the cell. Now rearranging this equation, you will get V is equal to E minus IR, where V represents the terminal potential difference, that is the potential difference across the external resistance. Remember, I am repeating many number of times. So V is equal to E minus IR. So here, hence potential difference, terminal potential difference of the cell is less than EMF of the cell. See here, V is equal to E minus something. So that means the terminal potential difference is equal to EMF of the cell minus IR. IR represents some work done in transferring the charge through the internal resistance. That is, terminal PD is always less than EMF of the cell, because there will be some internal resistance always. R is not equal to 0. R is always greater than 1. Even for a new cell, R is greater than 1. Therefore, there will be some energy, some work, some potential dissipated across the internal resistance. Therefore, the terminal PD is always less than EMF of the cell. And again, suppose the external resistance is equal to 0. If external resistance is equal to 0, what is the meaning? R is equal to 0. If the external resistance is equal to 0, capital R is equal to 0. So that means when the capital R, the external resistance, is equal to 0, then that is called a open circuit. That is called a open circuit. So to understand that clearly, observe here. See that I have a cell here. This is a cell, and that cell is not connected to any external resistance here. So here we have got the EMF of the cell E, and internal resistance is R. R is equal to infinity. Because R is equal to infinity, there is no current drawn from the cell. Now if you measure the terminal potential difference between the points A and B, that terminal potential difference when R is equal to infinity itself is the EMF of the cell. That means V is equal to E if R is equal to infinity. V is equal to E if R is equal to infinity. So V is equal to E. Remember this, V is equal to E if R is equal to infinity. What do you mean by R infinity? R infinity means it is a open circuit. As I told you here, it is a open circuit. R is equal to infinity is a open circuit. That means there is no external resistance connected. There is a gap here, and if you connect a voltmeter here, the voltmeter connected across the positive and negative terminal of the cell in a open circuit represents the EMF of the cell. It represents the EMF of the cell. That means there is no external resistance. The external resistance is equal to infinity. the external resistance is equal to infinity. So that external resistance is infinity means it is a open circuit. If it is open circuit, current is not drawn. Actually current is not drawn from the cell. When the current is not drawn from the cell, then the terminal PD itself is equal to EMF. Terminal PD itself is equal to EMF of the cell. So that is one thing, dear students. Now suppose if we move further, remember terminal potential difference of the cell is less than EMF of the cell. That is okay. If the circuit is open, what do you mean by if the circuit is open? Circuit is open means two things. Current is not drawn. Second, R is equal to infinity. If external resistance capital R is equal to infinity, current is not drawn. So both the cases we say it is a open circuit. In a open circuit, I is equal to 0. So if you put I is equal to 0, V becomes equal to E. Very simple. That means terminal potential difference is equal to EMF of the cell in a open circuit. I repeat again, terminal potential difference is equal to EMF of the cell in a open circuit when the current is not drawn from the cell. So that is one thing. And again, we know that in the previous slide we have learnt I, the current is equal to EMF divided by R plus R, and terminal PD is equal to V is equal to IR. So substitute for I in this equation, we will get V is equal to ER divided by R plus R. This is again one more equation for the terminal potential difference. V is equal to capital ER divided by R plus R. Capital E represents the EMF of the cell and R represents the external resistance. ER divided by R plus small r. Small r is the internal resistance. And rearranging this equation, you will get R small r is equal to E by V minus 1 into capital R. E by V minus 1 into capital R. Therefore, by knowing the EMF of the cell, external resistance and terminal PD, so we can find the internal resistance of the cell. We can find the internal. If it is a new cell, then the internal resistance will be less. After a long use, the internal resistance of the cell will increase. The internal resistance of the cell will increase. So remember these things. One, EMF of the cell. EMF of the cell is the amount of work done in driving 1 coulomb charge through the external resistance plus in driving 1 coulomb of charge, work done in driving 1 coulomb of charge through the internal resistance. Work done in transferring 1 coulomb charge, unit positive charge through external resistance plus work done in transferring 1 coulomb of charge through the internal resistance. Both the things added up gives you E. Out of that, first one, work done in transferring 1 coulomb of charge through the external resistance, is called terminal potential difference, represented by V. So V is equal to IR and I is equal to E divided by R plus R. Remember all these things, and this is important. Okay. So now, having learned these things, we will move further about the difference between the EMF and the potential difference. You know, the definition itself becomes one difference. EMF of the cell is the work done in transferring unit positive charge once around a closed circuit, and potential difference is the potential difference, terminal potential difference between 2 points in a circuit is the work done in transferring unit positive charge from one point to another, that is through the external resistance. EMF of a cell is the potential difference between the terminals of the cell when the cell is in the open circuit, here when the cell is in the closed circuit. When the cell is in the closed circuit, the potential difference across the terminals of the cell is equal to terminal PD. So when the cell is in the closed circuit, when the external resistance is included, closed circuit, when the current is drawn from the cell, then the terminal PD across the cell itself is EMF. Terminal PD across the cell itself is EMF. When the cell is in the open circuit, then the current is not drawn from the cell, and that is called EMF of the cell. Anyways, EMF is greater than the terminal PD, or terminal PD is less than EMF. So EMF is independent of the external resistance. It is independent of the external resistance, the value of EMF, because say for example, if you go and purchase a cell, dry cell of 1.5 volt, that 1.5 volt represents the EMF of the cell. It is irrespective of what you are connecting that to. Say that cell you may connect to a resistor of resistance 1 ohm. You may connect to the resistor of resistance 5 ohms. So the EMF of the cell does not depend on the external resistance that you have connected. Got it? So EMF of a cell depends only on the nature of the electrodes. I mean, for example, positive and negative, and nature of the electrolyte. For example, as I told you, Leclanche cell provides you 1.5 volt. Daniell cell provides around 1.05 volt. Therefore, so EMF of a cell does not depend on the external resistance, whereas the terminal PD, what is terminal PD? It is the potential drop across the external resistance, and therefore it depends on the value of the external resistance. It is the cause. EMF is a cause because it makes the current to flow, and that is a effect. Potential difference is a effect. It is a cause, that is a effect. That means due to EMF potential difference comes. Without EMF there is no potential difference. Okay, so these are the differences between the EMF and the potential difference. Now coming to this very important aspect of this session, that is the series combination of resistors. Now notice in this diagram, dear students, R1, R2, R3. There are three resistors connected end to end, and these three resistors which are connected end to end acts as resistors in series. They act as resistors in series. In the second diagram here, all these three resistors R1, R2, R3 connected in series is replaced by a single resistor, which is known as equivalent resistor. This equivalent resistor or the single resistor effectively replaces all the three resistors in series. All the three resistors in series, which means these three resistors in series, now whatever the current it makes to flow, whatever the potential it will drop, same potential will drop across RS, same current will flow through RS, which means these three resistors are effectively replaced by a single resistor, and therefore this is known as equivalent resistor in series, effective resistor in series. So listen again, R1, R2, R3 are the three resistances connected in series because they are connected end to end, and I is the current flowing through all the three resistors, because same current has to flow through all the three resistors R1, R2 and R3, because there is no other chance. So suppose, say for example, 1 ampere current comes through R1, same current has to go through R2, same current has to go through R3, because there is no other path for the current to flow. So therefore the current flowing through all the resistors is the same, even though the value of the resistances are different. But the potential difference across R1 we call it as V1, and the potential difference across R2 we call it as V2, and the PD, potential drop or potential difference, across R3 we call it as V3. This V1 plus V2 plus V3, that means the sum of the potential drops across the individual resistors, that is V1 plus V2 plus V3, must be equal to V. So these are the two important conditions. I repeat, please listen. Suppose if you want to say the number of resistors are connected in series, the number of resistors are said to be connected in series if they are connected end to end such that same current flows through all the resistors. Point number one. Second point, the sum of the potential differences or potential drops across the individual resistors, that is V1 plus V2 plus V3, must be equal to the total potential drop, that is V. V1 plus V2 plus V3 must be equal to total potential. Say for example, if the battery has got a potential of potential of 60 volt, then if 10 volt drop across this one, and if the 10 volt drop across this one, remaining 40 volt should drop here. That means 10 plus 10 plus 40, 10 plus 10 plus 40, that is 60. That means 60 here should be equal to V1 plus V2 plus V3, depending upon the resistances, because V1 is equal to IR1, V2 is equal to what? I R2 according to Ohm's law. V3 is equal to I R3. So I repeat again, please listen students. The number of resistors are said to be connected in series if they are connected end to end such that same current flows through all the resistors. Point number 1. Second point, the sum of the potential drops across the individual resistors, that is V1, V2, V3, sum V1 plus V2 plus V3 must be equal to the total potential drop. If these two conditions are satisfied, then we say the resistors are connected in series. Remember very clearly, current should be same, V should be equal to V1 plus V2 plus V3 in brief. That is how you have to remember. Now you just remember this diagram, it is important. So we have got three resistors here, R1, R2, R3 connected in series. V1, V2, V3 are the potential drops across the individual resistors. I is the current flowing through all of them, and V is the potential difference, that is the total potential difference of the battery of the cell. And now in this diagram, all these three resistors are replaced by a single effective resistor called effective resistance in series, and there is a battery here, same battery, and the potential drop is V. So that is one thing. Secondly, now we'll move on. As I told you, this is the important second condition. V is equal to V1 plus V2 plus V3. That is important condition for the resistors to be in series. V is the total potential drop should be equal to sum of the potential drops across the individual resistors. And from Ohm's law, V1 is equal to IR1, V2 is equal to IR2, V3 is equal to IR3. Here I is same through all the resistors, therefore I have not taken I1, I2 or I3 like that. So I and I, because the current is same through all the resistors. Now substituting for V1, V2 and V3 in the equation 1, you will get V is equal to IR1 plus IR2 plus IR3. Take I common, V is equal to I into R1 plus R2 plus R3, that is the equation number 2. Now see that apply the Ohm's law for this resistor, equivalent resistor. If you apply the Ohm's law, I is the current flowing here through RS, I is the current flowing through RS, V is the potential drop, RS is the resistance. So therefore according to Ohm's law, V, the potential drop across the external effective resistance RS, is equal to I into RS. That is nothing but I into RS. Check this one, V is equal to I into RS. This is the Ohm's law applied to the equivalent resistor. Now compare the equations 2 and 3. If you compare the equations 2 and 3, V and V are same, I and I are same. Therefore we get RS is equal to R1 plus R2 plus R3, which means the effective resistance in series is equal to the algebraic sum of the different resistors, individual resistances. So RS is equal to R1 plus R2 plus R3 in case of three resistors connected in series. Suppose if there are n number of resistors connected in series, then RS is equal to R1 plus R2 plus R3, so on Rn. That is n number of resistors connected in series. If there are identical, now thus in series combination, the effective resistance is equal to sum of the individual resistances. In series combination of resistances, effective resistance is equal to the sum of the individual resistances. That is important aspect of this resistors in series. This is an important question which can be asked for 5 marks. So practice, dear students, this is an important question. Now suppose if there are identical resistors, identical means in the place of R1 we have got R, and in the place of R2 we have got R, in the place of R3 we have got R. So like that, if we have n resistors, so we will get R plus R plus R plus R plus so on. If there are n resistors, then RS will be equal to NR. RS will be equal to NR. That is here. If you observe this one, with n identical resistors, RS is equal to NR. RS is equal to NR. Remember that. That is one important aspect. So therefore resistors connected in series. Remember this diagram, resistors R1, R2, R3 in series, and the equivalent resistor diagram. It is important, and clearly mention what is V1, V2, V3, R1, R2, R3 and I. Importantly mention two conditions: current is same through all the resistors, and the total potential is equal to the sum of the potentials across the individual resistors, that is V is equal to V1 plus V2 plus V3. Now starting with the second condition, you can arrive at the equation for RS. RS is equal to R1 plus R2 plus R3 if there are 3 resistors, and it goes on for n number of resistors. Now moving further, notice here students, here we have got 3 resistors, again R1, R2, R3, but observe here one end of all the 3 resistors, one end, consider it as left end, left of R1, left of R2, left of R3, all are connected common, all are made common, they are connected to one point, and the right side of R1, right side of R2, right side of R3, say for that matter, all are connected to another end. That means one end of all the resistors are connected to one common point, the other end of all the resistors are connected to another common point. In that case, we say that the resistors are said to be in parallel. I repeat, listen properly, the number of resistors are said to be connected in parallel if one end of all the resistors are connected to one point, the other end of all the resistors are connected to another point. So in that case, we say that the resistors are connected in parallel, remember that. Secondly, you have to understand that when the resistors are connected in parallel, the potential drop across all the 3 resistors remains same. Observe if you want. See that the left side of all the 3, or one side of all the 3 are connected to the positive terminal, which means one side, one end of all the 3 resistors are at a higher potential, positive potential. Look at the other side, right side, other side of all the 3 resistors are connected to the negative terminal of the cell. Therefore, all the other ends of the resistors are at a lower potential, same lower potential. So left ends of all the resistors are at a higher potential, right ends of all the resistors are at a lower potential. Therefore, the potential drop across all the resistor remains same, and the current varies, current divides. See that the main current comes here, I is the main current coming. Out of this main current, the current going through R1 is say I1. Similarly, the current going through this R2 is I2. And similarly, the current going through R3 is I3, I1, I2 and I3. So that means here the current gets divided. You just try to remember comparing the series and parallel. In series combination, the potential drop was varying, here the current is varying. In series combination, the current was same, here the potential difference is same. Now suppose if you replace all the 3 resistors by a single resistor, effective resistor, that single effective resistor which effectively replaces all the 3 resistors in parallel is called RP. Effective resistor in parallel, equivalent resistor in parallel. That means the voltage is V and the current is I and resistance is RP. So what is the total current here? All the 3 resistors, total current is I, potential drop is V. Here also the current is I, potential drop is V. So therefore, these 3 resistors are effectively replaced by a single resistor, that is called equivalent resistor in parallel. So I hope it is very clear. Now moving to the next point, deriving the equation for the equivalent resistance in parallel. Now notice that in the parallel combination, what gets divided? Current. So I is equal to I1 plus I2 plus I3. I is the main current, I1 is the current through R1, I2 is the current through the second resistor R2, I3 is the current through the third resistor of resistance R3. So you know that from Ohm's law, I1 is equal to V by R1, I2 is equal to V by R2 and I3 is equal to V by R3. Substitute for I1, I2 and I3 in the equation 1. You will get I is equal to V by R1 plus V by R2 plus V by R3. Take V common and now you will get 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3. Now this is the equation 2. Suppose if you apply the Ohm's law for an equivalent resistor in parallel, then again you will get I is equal to V divided by RP, because I is the current, V is the potential, Rp is the resistance. I is equal to V by Rp. This is the equation which you will get when you apply the Ohm's law for an equivalent resistor. So therefore equation number 3. Now 2 and 3 if you compare, now notice that I and I goes, V and V goes, what remains is 1 by Rp. So therefore 1 by Rp is equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3 for 3 resistors. For n resistors it goes on up to 1 by Rn. So what is the definition? 1 by Rp. What do you mean by 1 by Rp? It is the reciprocal of the effective resistance in parallel. Reciprocal of the effective resistance in parallel is equal to sum of the reciprocals of the individual resistances. I repeat again, reciprocal of the effective resistance in parallel is equal to the sum of the reciprocals of the individual resistors connected in parallel, that is the effective resistance in parallel, effective resistance in parallel. So we have got one last thing to learn, that is about the current, branch current formula. Say, to understand what is branch current formula, now we will go by this diagram, so that gives a clear picture for us to learn the branch current formula. It is easy and it is important also. Imagine, dear students, we have got say we have got two resistors connected in parallel, so one here is R1, and we have got another resistor R2. This is R2, okay, R2. So now this R1 and R2 are connected to a battery, here. R1 and R2 are connected to a battery, okay. So just a minute. Now notice that, very simple, we have got two resistors connected in series, and these two resistors, they are connected in parallel, and the two resistors which are connected in parallel, so how the current divides. Now what we are supposed to learn is that how the current gets divided. Now to understand that, look at this diagram. This is giving little problem. Okay, fine. I think it is working now. See that R1 is one resistor, and again R2 is another resistor. Now both of them are connected to a battery here. Okay. So now R1 and R2 are the two resistors. Here battery, this is a battery, potential is V. So the main current comes here, I is the main current, and the current now gets divided here. The main current comes and gets divided here. Say the current flowing through R1 is I1 and the current flowing through R2 is I2. Okay. So now one thing we know very clearly, that the potential difference across the two resistors will be same because they are in parallel. When the resistors are connected in parallel, the potential drop across the two resistors is same. What is the potential drop? V1 is the potential drop. This V1 is the potential drop across the first resistor, and V2 is the potential drop across the second resistor, and you know that V1 is equal to V2. So V1 is equal to V2, and later if V1 is equal to V2, then check this, V1 is equal to I1 R1, and that is equal to I2 R2. So I1 R1 is equal to I2 R2. Now suppose if I write this as I2 divided by I1 is equal to R1 divided by R2. So adding 1 on both the sides, that means I2 divided by I1 plus 1 is equal to R1 divided by R2 plus 1. Here I2 plus I1 divided by I1 is equal to R1 plus R2 divided by R2. So now after learning this, what is I2 plus I1? That is the total current I. So I can write it as main current. So therefore the main current I is equal to I divided by I1. I divided by I1 is equal to R1 plus R2 divided by R2. So suppose if I reciprocate it and write, I'll get I1 is equal to I into R2 divided by R1 plus R2. So I1 is equal to IR2 divided by R1 plus R2. Similarly, you can write I2 is equal to IR1 divided by R1 plus R2. So what is that you have to understand? The current in any branch, that is I1, is equal to main current into resistance of the other branch divided by R1 plus R2, sum of the resistances. So current in any branch is equal to main current into resistance of the other branch divided by sum of the resistances. So that is I1. And also similarly I2. This is known as branch current formula. It is applicable only when two resistors are connected in parallel. So dear students, today we have learnt about the cells, internal resistance, electromotive force, terminal potential difference, Ohm's law applied to a simple circuit, that is the current I is equal to E divided by R plus R, and also we learnt about the resistors in series and resistors in parallel, and also we learnt about importantly the branch current formula. So by this we end up this session. We will meet up in the next session, and we will take up some other topics related to the cells in series and cells in parallel. Until then, bye. Have a good time.